Okay, so picture this. You're in the middle of a crowded grocery store and your toddler just decides to go full starfish right there in aisle 4. Or, maybe you're just trying to get dinner on the table after a really long, exhausting day and a cup of juice is intentionally tipped over while they maintain direct eye contact with you. Yeah, we've all been there. Managing a child's misbehavior is this universal, often completely overwhelming struggle for parents and caregivers everywhere. It can make you feel helpless, frustrated, and honestly, sometimes pretty angry. So welcome to this explainer where we are going to unpack a completely different approach to these intense moments. We're breaking down 10 highly effective, positive ways to discipline your child, drawing directly from the foundational principles of positive parenting. But first, I want you to really think about this for a second. What if discipline wasn't about punishment? For generations, the word discipline has been heavily loaded. It's been synonymous with, timeouts, grounded teenagers, yelling, and just a general sense of fear. It's a super stress-inducing mindset for literally everyone involved. But what if we completely flip that script? What if, instead of viewing discipline as a penalty for doing something wrong, we viewed it as a positive, connection-based framework for teaching? That is exactly the paradigm shift we are exploring today. Phase 1, rethinking the D word. What does it actually mean? Okay, let's dive into this. True discipline is a way to teach children how to behave rather than making them feel afraid, ashamed, or unloved. Fun fact, the root of the word discipline actually comes from the Latin word discipulus, which means pupil or learner. It doesn't mean prisoner. Our goal as parents isn't to be a warden, right? It's to be a teacher. When a kid misbehaves, they're usually showing us that they lack a certain skill, like emotional regulation or understanding boundaries. Discipline is our absolute best tool for teaching empathy, respect, and self-control, not for instilling fear. Because think about it, if a child only behaves because they are terrified of the consequences, they aren't actually learning right from wrong. They're just learning how to avoid your anger.
Moving on to phase 2, setting the stage. These are the proactive steps.
The whole foundation of positive discipline relies heavily on these 2 steps: setting clear rules and being consistent. Imagine playing a board game where the rules just keep changing every 5 minutes. You'd flip the board, wouldn't you? Well, children feel the exact same way when navigating life. They need simple, completely understandable rules. Make sure your child actually knows what's expected of them before you correct their behavior. And then comes step 2. Consistency. Honestly, this is often the hardest part for us adults. Your rules should not change depending on your mood. If jumping on the couch is against the rules on a Saturday morning when you're feeling great and well-rested, it still has to be against the rules on a Tuesday evening when you're completely exhausted from work. Consistent expectations and consequences help kids understand boundaries, and ultimately, it makes them feel secure. Phase 3, in the heat, managing the actual meltdown. Now here's the twist. The very first step of managing a meltdown actually isn't about the child at all. It's about you. Stay calm before correcting. Never ever discipline your child while you are extremely angry. If milk is intentionally poured all over your freshly cleaned floor, your blood pressure is definitely going to spike. But taking a moment to calm yourself, just taking a deep breath or even stepping into the other room for 10 seconds, allows you to speak firmly but respectfully. Next, when emotions become intense for your child, give them a quiet moment to calm down. Notice I didn't say banish them to isolation. This isn't about humiliating or frightening them, it's about helping their little nervous systems regain control. And finally, avoid hitting, shouting, and insults entirely. Physical punishment, constant yelling, and hurtful words do tremendous damage. They seriously erode trust and fracture the parent-child relationship. Discipline should never, ever involve violence or humiliation.
Phase 4, meaningful correction. This is where the teaching happens.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between shaming and teaching. Saying, "you are bad," literally attacks the child's core identity. It tells them they are fundamentally flawed. But saying, "throwing your toys can hurt someone. Toys should be handled gently," addresses the specific behavior that was wrong and explains exactly why it was unacceptable. You are giving them the logical reason behind the rule. By separating the child from the action, you protect their self-esteem while still holding them absolutely accountable for what they did. When correcting behavior, try to use natural or logical consequences whenever possible. Basically, let the consequence be directly connected to the behavior. If your kid purposefully dumps their water, taking away their iPad just doesn't compute in their brain. A logical consequence is handing them a towel and saying, "if you spill it, you clean it." It just makes sense. Additionally, offering appropriate choices is a fantastic tool. Kids often misbehave because they feel like they have absolutely zero control, so give them some. For example, you can put your toys away now, or you can do it after dinner. Which do you choose?
goes. You're still requiring the toys to be put away, but you're empowering them to feel responsible for the decision of when. And finally, phase 5, connect, teach, and love. You know, it is incredibly easy as a parent to fall into the trap of only noticing the squeaky wheel, basically only speaking up when a mistake is made. But we have to actively praise good behavior, catch them doing something right. If you see your child sharing, don't just smile internally, say it out loud. I really like how you shared your toys with your brother. That was very kind. Positive reinforcement builds a literal roadmap for them to follow. Furthermore, after you have corrected a behavior, after the spilled water is all cleaned up and the lesson is taught, you must reconnect. Remind your child that you still love them. Talk about what they can do differently next time. Give them a warm hug. That reconnection signifies that while the behavior was a problem, the relationship is totally secure and completely intact.
So the crucial point is, your child is not the problem. The behavior is the problem. This quote perfectly captures the entire philosophy we've been unpacking in this explainer. When you can fundamentally separate your child's identity from their temporary actions, your whole approach to parenting completely shifts. You stop seeing a naughty kid who needs to be punished, and you start seeing a developing human being who needs guidance, boundaries, and a skilled teacher.
To summarize the core message of everything we've looked at today, we have this powerful mantra derived directly from our source material. Positive discipline means connect, teach, guide, and correct with love. Remember, the ultimate goal of discipline is to teach children self-control, responsibility, empathy, and respect. If we can just keep connection and love at the center of our guidance, even when we are correcting them, we're setting them up for a lifetime of emotional intelligence and secure relationships. Knowing everything we just discussed about shifting from punishment to teaching, from shouting to staying calm, and from shaming to guiding, next time emotions run high, and they absolutely will, whether it's a spilled cup of milk tomorrow morning or a thrown toy tonight, how will you choose to connect? Think about how you can apply these positive tools to turn your next challenging moment into a really powerful opportunity for teaching. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and happy parenting.